Today we are installing a custom glass sliding door system for a 5-foot shower. Now, it's not custom glass in the respect that we didn't have a glass guy come and measure this to order, but in the fact that traditionally, I'd say 90 to 95% of the bathtubs in this world are a 5-foot width tub. So a few years ago, the market started creating replacement products. So you could pull out your tub, put in a new tub, or just a shower pan, and this is where it got real popular. The 5-foot shower pan. You see them in building stores everywhere now. You even see them in other retail outlets. And you can buy a shower pan with now a sliding door kit that looks pretty darn sexy. Comes with a solid fixed panel, an overhead rail, big stainless steel chrome rail rollers. Looks pretty good. Generally, this product runs around $800 to $1,000. There's varying degrees of quality and that sort of thing, brushed nickel chrome. But for the most part, anywhere between an 8 and a 12 millimeter glass, you're gonna get the same result. It's gonna keep the water out of the rest of the bathroom, and it's made of tempered glass, so it's not a safety hazard. So what I recommend is go for the 8 to 10 mil glass products instead of the 12. The 12 mil product is really heavy. Then recently we installed one that was available for sale at a local store, and it took 4 grown men to carry it upstairs. So if you want to do this yourself, which you can, we're going to teach you how. Buy the smaller glass, 8 to 10 mil, and you'll be able to manage that on your own, no problem. So before we get started, let's open up the package and see what we have. All right, well, it's Christmas. Let's open this box up and see what we have. Okay, so this shower door comes in 2 different boxes. Thank God. It's 10 millimeter glass, so it's really easy for 2 people to carry. You're not gonna be sweating it out and risk dropping this bad boy. Like I was talking about in the intro, we did a 12 mil glass once. It was a lot heavier, and all of the product was in one case. Just nuts. I don't know who designed that, but they should be shot. So here we go. We're just gonna confirm. I'm looking for the fixed panel. Yep, this one's got the holes drilled in it. So this is my first panel. That's good. And then over here, the one with the actual door panel is like Fort Knox to open up. Here's all the rails that I need. So, interesting. I need to take out some of this in order to put in some of this. Well, I better get set up and organized. So here we go. We are ready to install our glass door, but first thing we do is we've identified the parts in the box, found our hardware kit, and our instruction manual. You know, you've seen me on these videos probably reading instruction manuals like this. Yes, 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 yes. But I got stumped on this one a little bit. This is a new installation. Usually on these glass door systems, they have an overhead rail. And you'll see in this diagram here, there's a bracket that goes attached to each side of the wall, and then the rail goes in the bracket. But my experience, the bracket has got a little piece that's attached to the wall, and it slides up and down the rail. You put it in place, you slide it over, you Allen key it together. That's very nice. It's a real pain in the butt. This looks like a real simple installation. So I'm glad I read this, or I would have been a little bit confused moving forward. Always take the time, you never know. Someone might invent something new someday. Okay, if you've never installed this door kit before, here's step 1. Well, that made perfect sense. There's not a whole lot of instruction here other than a couple of diagrams. So if you've never done this before, you really need to watch this video because this is not going to do you a damn bit of good. Alrighty, here we go. Always carry your glass from underneath and don't assume that just because it feels like you got a good grip, you're going to be fine. All right, so this is the door. The first thing we want to do is get the door in the room. It has to go into the back of the shower. You don't want to try to do this when you have your fixed panel and your overhead rail installed. All right, Nate, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go high. You're going to stay low. We're going to try to keep the glass vertical like this as much as we can and then bring it into the shower. So I'm about as high as I want to go. I'm going to put my hand on the ceiling. Okay, we're going to go like that. A little bit of support there. Okay, bring it right around onto the foam. Now we've got a tarp on the floor just for protection for the shower pan. And those foam blocks, here I cheated and I put the little corners in my pocket. Nate, when we're doing a shower, we're going to put a fixed panel from here attached to the wall, and then the door slides from behind on an overhead rail. If this glass isn't in here before we start, you saw how little our space was to begin with because we have a drop ceiling? Can you imagine trying to squeeze that in here? Never happened. By the way, in case you forget, this is Nate. You probably remember him from the deck project that we did.
Hello.
Roll footage. And so he's joined me for the summer again, which is awesome. I'm glad to have him back. We're going to teach him how to do some of this installation. I've put about 20 or 25 of these glass door systems in so far in my career. They're all basically the same. The door goes in the back. It's not in the information, by the way. That pamphlet doesn't tell you to do that.
No.
That would have been painful. All right, here we go. So what we've got to do is we need the chrome rail, the U-channel that goes against the wall.
Yeah.
And we're going to need our drills, which we have, the drill bits. We're going to need the hardwood case. Okay, so go get the chrome rail and the hardwood case and let's get busy. All right?
Big chrome.
Okay. So just as a note, if you're doing a new bathroom install, you'll notice I haven't put the finished fixtures on the wall yet. I haven't even installed the toilet yet. Traditionally, bathrooms are a little tight on space, so if you can do your glass system before you put all your other fixtures in, it will be to your benefit. You need all the space you can get to maneuver around here. So according to the directions, and it's going to be the same everywhere, we need to attach the U-channel to the wall. When we frame this, generally speaking, we make sure we always put framing behind the wall. If you don't have framing, plugs will work, but make sure that you're attaching the back side of this with two-sided tape and or silicone. So what we do is we just hold the U-channel up against the wall. We'll pull out the level in a minute, but first I just want to generally mark where these holes are going to be. Okay, so this is the sliding door hardware. So generally this goes down here, my glass goes into here, all right, and then the other door slides in here. So what I'm looking at is, I need a measurement, Nate, of how far from the outside edge to the center of that hole here where the glass panel goes. So from there to the center. Looks like it's about 1/2 inch, but maybe 5/8.
No, it's about 1.5 inches. Or 1.25 inches.
Okay, so the center of this hole, where the pencil is.
Center of that hole.
From the outside edge.
Oh, okay.
And let's make sure it's back in position. There.
So there we go.
The center of that hole. So it's more than 1/2 inch. It's like 9/16 or something stupid.
Sure.
Okay, so then what we want to do is make sure the center of this is 9/16 from that edge. Okay? So let's also put some tape here. Because the more you make things level and square and think end from the beginning, the more likely you won't screw it all up. Okay, Nate. Put your tape measure over here. We're going to mark 9/16. On the tape, please. There we go. There's 9/16. That's the center of my glass. Wow, that is really on the outside edge. That's where that has to go. So basically what I'm doing, I have my 9/16 on the rail now. I'm going to put this 9/16, which represents the center of the glass, put it up against my tile, make my pencil mark where I'm going to be drilling a hole. Okay, and then I'm going to be putting tape there. The tape is because I need to use a level to make this mark properly. Okay. So there's my 9/16. So I'm going to just mark my holes that I have to drill. Okay. And now I'm going to put my level on there. Nick, can you make sure that I'm on 9/16 down there, please? Now I'm going to level this.
Yeah, you're good.
And this is one of these cases where you don't want to just be close. You want to be right on the money. Thank you. The benefit of having the DeWalt drill here is that I have a hammer drill function. Yeah, they call me crazy, but I love my hammer drill function. Generally speaking, when you're using this kind of bit, and there's 2 bits actually I've used. I like the glass and tile bit. It looks like a little spade shovel, so it has a point, and it doesn't run around on you. This kind tends to travel when you're drilling a hole, so you gotta kind of really brace yourself, and then hold the drill against the wall, get a couple points of contact, And you want to start your hole just underneath your pencil mark, like this, and hold it still while it makes its mark. And then, whoop, see what I'm talking about? Slowly lift it into place. And then once you get a nice hole that'll hold it steady, wow, that's noisy. Here's the other kind of bit. Looks like a little spade tip on it. It's carbide tipped. It should do a good job just as well. The difference is these only tend to last so long and you don't want to overheat them. So you might only get 2 or 3 holes drilled with something like this, but if all you're doing is that one shower, it's good to go. Loving that.
That is some tough tile.
Woo!
Holy.
That is some strong ass stone. Damn. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, we're in. So these are about $9 times 4, $40. They'll work. They're really good for ceramic, but this is a really hard porcelain. Want to use the other bit, which is about $40. So you might as well get one that's going to work over and over and over again, because that's just maddening. Hey! Crazy. So I had a problem today. I was out of my silicone that I usually use, my new Flex. So, bum, 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 bum. We had to go to the hardware store. God help us. It says, French, water resistant in 30 minutes. Not bad, I guess, if you're really in a hurry to get it wet. It's a 10-year mold resistance, microbrand technology, kitchen bath, blah, blah, blah. That's nice. Silicone always needs to be pierced. Make sure you do that, or you will make one heck of a mess trying to squeeze it out of the tube, but it'll come out the back end. All right. So whenever we're working like this, we'll put silicone in the hole first as a good measure for sealing up that hole before we put any screws or plugs. Now, thanks, Nate.
You're welcome.
If you have wood in behind, then you'll be fine. If you don't, you want to use a plug. If you do, I use a plug. Squeeze that in the silicone right there. These plugs are about the same thickness as my stone and wallboard. Lovely. So, like most manufacturers, they use these Phillips bits. Real pain in the butt. Phillips bits don't hold onto a screwdriver worth a darn. So pre-thread your screw through the hole, because you can't hold your metal bracket and your screw and your drill all at the same time. All right, and now this is really easier to do if you have really skinny fingers. What you want to do is hold the screw top on the drill bit like this and then insert it. Got it. So once you have your rail on, that establishes where your glass panel is going to go. At the end of your glass panel, they have this little attachment. There's a few different varieties of this, but in this case, this one slides over the piece of glass. There's a little cap here you can pop off and put a screw into the shower pan. I'm not a big fan of that. I would prefer to use silicone and two-sided tape for all these applications, just because if you buy custom glass, all of these accessories, that's all they're going to use, silicone and two-sided tape. Why are these manufactured glass systems always want you to put screws through your shower pan and then risk water getting in there and start to go black and gunky, and you just don't need that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just cut a few pieces of the trim that we have. They're like little pieces of rubbery gasket. And we're going to use these like a silicone shim for leveling off the glass panel. I checked the pan angle of this. It's about 1 degree off. And you want to get this door on as square as humanly possible. Now the doors themselves will adjust the height, the way the roller sits on it, to close against the wall. But if you can mitigate some of the, the variances by having the door panel itself perfectly level, it just makes the rest of the installation so much smoother. So I suggest take an extra few minutes here, make sure your glass panel is in as level as possible before you move forward. And for that, you're gonna need some of these little rubber shims. Same rule as before, you wanna keep the glass as vertical as you can. And this is more of a one-man installation here. So we're gonna come in, and then you're gonna let go, so that I can drive. I'm gonna watch the ceiling and the floor at the same time.
Yep.
Use your shoe. Okay. You can see I've only got a few inches of clearance at the ceiling here. So I'm gonna use my shoe and use that to slide this glass into place. Aren't we glad we don't have a toilet here yet? Now I'm gonna bunny hop it up onto the rail. Now the way we do this, lift it up and stick the corner into the gap first. All right. And then just slide it over. Nice and gentle like. I'm just lifting up the corner here, putting in my, you got that?
Yep.
Putting my little shim package in. Whoa, remember you had that?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, set it down.
Right now?
Yeah, slowly. Okay. Oh. That is almost perfect. So here's the secret, and I know this is going to blow your mind. I take my shim pack. Nate, can you lift the glass, please?
Yep.
Just a touch. And I'm going to move it over a couple of inches. Set it down.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. So here's the deal. The closer your little shim pack gets to the corner, the more the whole glass will rotate and will go in line. So for the do-it-yourselfer, if this is your first time doing one of these doors, there is a step that you can do here and turn this into a 2-day installation. You could at this point silicone the walls, silicone the floor, let this all cure for 24 hours and then come back and install the rest. That makes life really simple. Then nothing is guaranteed to move. But if you don't have that luxury of time, you can, believe it or not, use a little bit of tape to keep everything in place while you're finishing the build. It's amazing how strong tape can be. Just put it on both sides. Basically, you're just taping the glass to the shower pan, creating a resistance. Now the glass won't move around. Okay, there we go. Let's continue on. We've got to take our rail and attach our hardware here. This is the part that goes in the glass. And you can always tell which side goes in the glass because it comes with these little plastic covers that separate the metal. Right? That way you don't have contact with the metal in the glass to avoid chipping. So the screw holes are in the instructions, so many millimeters over, so many millimeters down. I hate that sort of thing. I'm more of a visual person. I like to do a rough in, make sure I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I've worked with different systems. Some of them come with a little L-shaped square on it, and you can set it on there and mark the holes. That's brilliant, but this system doesn't have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this hardware in here and just fuss around until we find that sweet spot. There we are. And we're not going to tighten it all the way up yet. We're just going to place it in. So this particular hardware, it comes in 2 pieces. Very nice. Now these are just decorative covers, okay? Not necessary to put those on right at the moment, but just visually they'll help keep you in check. Now I need the other one to go on this side.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so what this happens, you can see this little bracket here, and on your left side of that bracket there are 2 screw holes. And the bottom is going to carry the weight of the bar. All right? And so all you're going to do is you're going to set up the level, you're going to slide this over, and you're going to screw that to the wall. In order to do that, we have to take our Allen key in this particular case, which I thought was in my pouch, and there it is. And we're just going to rough-to-mate where level is and tighten the Allen key to it so it doesn't slide off. Okay, so now that I've got both of my ends tightened to my bracket, I'm not attached to the wall yet, obviously. This isn't tight either. We want to level it off before we mark this thing, okay? So here's the key. This is a little torpedo level. It comes with a magnetic side. You'll notice that with stainless steel, it kind of works. Kind of. To prevent damage, don't trust it. It's also very short, so even when you think you're level, it's really hard to tell. Now that's a really good quality torpedo level, but the longer the level, the more accurate the reading. And you'll see that according to this one, I am out. So even the torpedo level said it was perfectly level, and it was wrong. Bigger is always better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just trace the outline with the pencil. I don't want to use a marker here. Like I said, this is a Lapato tile, so it is porous. I'll trace all these first, and then we're gonna take all this hardware off, and we're gonna come back and drill these holes, and then mount these brackets in the exact position that we want them. Just give it a mark and a wiggle. And then we drill 4 more holes. We'll be back in a minute. I like to use the back of my tape measure to put my plugs in the wall. It's rubber, solid, gets the job done. Doesn't break anything. You'll see there that I'm pretty much exhausted my ability to put that plug in. I'm up against the wood. I'm just a little bit crazy. I like to go a little overkill. There we are. Okay, so we got to set our bar in position and put that through the glass. So what you end up with is something that's carrying weight in 3 points. Now that we've got this in its final resting place, I'm going to put my Allen key in there. There is a hole in the side of this, and you use your Allen key to tighten it up, like a wrench. Brilliant. So quick recap. Now we've got our fixed panel in place, and we have our overhead bar secured and in place. So every structural element of this is done. From this point forward, what we're going to do is we're going to hang the door, make the adjustments, and then add all the finishing trims just to keep the water from getting out of the shower. And then we're basically done. So what we're going to do here is we got to take these wheels apart. So it's helpful here to have an extra pair of hands. All right. So I've got my wheel and my little plastic gasket here just to keep all of the metal from being in contact with the glass. Important here, there's a wheel where the hole is offset. All right, so when you turn that for adjustment, you're actually raising and lowering the glass. And that's the other side with the nut. So you put the nut facing outside, and then you put on the nut. Hold the nut and just spin the wheel till it's finger tight. Keep your decorative cap side, because you won't need that until after you're done making all your final adjustments. Do the same on the other side.
My turn.
Nothing but packaging, eh? You want to do this one?
Sure.
Hey, you're up.
Plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Gray.
Uh-huh. Which side goes in? Yeah,
Don't
okay,
have
good.
side. Nut.
And then hold the nut onto the thread and then turn the big wheel.
I got big fingers, man.
And that's why you want to move the big wheel.
There we go.
Yeah, it's important when you're threading something like that, go in reverse until you feel it catch, and then go forward so you don't cross thread it. All right, is it snug? It's not going to fall off?
That's
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the moment of truth. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use 2 people here. We're going to lift this onto the rail, okay? So your job will be to make sure that both of these are going onto the rail.
Okay.
My job will make sure that the bottom glass goes into that little gap there.
Okay.
At the same time. All right.
So we want to bring it up and then just drop it in place.
And straight down.
Okay.
So you take care of the visually on top, and I'll take care of visually on the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. Are we good?
We're good.
And down now.
Nice.
We're there?
We're there.
Good, and we're in our slide.
Hey!
So this system here has got these little brake system built into the hardware. Snug as a bug in a rug. That's nice. That's a great little catch. That's it. Force against the glass yourself. And all right, so all of these gaskets, they don't apply with any adhesive, no silicone, just it's a compression fit. They're also available for replacement parts. If you go to your local glass shop, anybody that has 8 or 10 or 12 mil glass will carry these in stock. So if you have a kit that requires you to cut them to size, then you make a mistake, just go and get a new replacement. They're only a few dollars, they're in stock, and that way you won't be disappointed with the final result. When you're pressing this in, just be really careful. It's a very rigid plastic. So if you go too fast, you'll end up burning your thumb. Creates a lot of heat. So nice and easy. So these gaskets are designed to keep the water from getting out. Water generally is a problem at the bottom of the shower, not the top, which is why we didn't use silicone in the screws mounting the top rail. You're not going to get covered in water up there. So once you get your bottom established really well, you go ahead and finish all that off. Really the last step for us here is just to put our little bit of brackets down here in the silicone. This is our drip edge. This is just a little threshold that they've designed. It goes outside the door, so any water dripping off the glass, it gets redirected back inside the shower. And then we're done. We just got a silicone and walk away. So now that we've got that in place, the reason I put those on first is because this particular system doesn't have a guard on the rail. Some systems that have a little bumper here, so when you open the door, boom, it stops there nice and shy. You're never gonna have contact with the wall. This one, it goes snug right at the wall. Got me a little nervous, but I want to make sure I got that little protection. And over here, this system again, there's nothing to stop this from going all the way in except the brake here. And because it's a new system to me, I didn't want to take any chances, so now I got something nice and soft for it to land on. Got them those pieces. This wheel here is designed, and this is gonna be crazy. And we'll adjust these in a minute so that when this is threaded on, the door can't lift off the mount. That's simple. So if you grab the handle and you give a bit of a lift, it'll bang into the rail and it won't fall off. That's all that is. It's just for safety. And push. Okay. In the kit, you're going to get one of these little wrenches. Depending on the kit, there may be more than one wrench. But here, what we've got is a really interesting situation. This door, in spite of our best efforts, is just a little off level. We're going to put this wrench on, okay? I'll go this way, you should be able to see it really easy. You'll see the glass rise up and down. We want to go down on our end over here as much as we can. It's amazing, this one little adjustment will do such a huge difference. And then we're going to take our wrench in the middle, grab the little nut, and tighten it up so we can lock that spot in place. Okay? Because we like the way that that's sitting. We don't want to let that change. We tighten that nut in place now. These are the decorative knobs that we had off earlier. We'll just throw those on. Now we need a door handle, of course. Same rule applies. You're going to want to put one of these pieces of plastic gasket on each side. There's a set screw on here. You want the set screw facing down. And again, so good to have 3 hands. So the last part is just to put your trim on the base. This is just water deflection, so this is not a real big issue. We're going to just add some silicone to this piece of plastic that receives the door. Okay. Really important here slide the door over. Let the door dictate where that should go. Okay. And then slide it away again. This last little piece here goes outside the door. There we go. We'll go under that trim. All right. So what I would do is I would use it like a straight line just to mark where it's going to go. This product will work for me. Shapers. And down, and then back through the hole. Ever so gently, just to split the difference. All that's left now is to take your clear silicone, use a nice mildew resistant product that's going to last for a while, go around and make a nice seal anywhere where the metal meets the tile or the glass meets the acrylic base, and just close it all up with the silicone. Remember, this sort of a system is not a waterproofing, it's just a water diversion. So as long as everything that the water is going to be touching while it's following gravity and heading towards the drain is sealed up, it won't start creeping back underneath. Even the edge on this base has got probably a 2-degree slope. So everything is being diverted back into the drain. So what I like to do is seal up the outside first, and then once everything is all finished, then I'll go back in the next day. I'll seal up the inside and silicone all of my shower, because I still have all my inside around the ceiling and around the base to do. But then your shower system is done. Most of these units follow a similar principle. There might be little adjustments here or there, but remember the steps are simple. Lots of measuring, do a dry run, have an extra pair of hands, and you'll be able to do this yourself too. If you're enjoying these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, but most importantly, comment on the videos by all means, or a suggestion of video you'd like to see, let us know. We'd love to be in touch.